What if reality had a version number? What if life itself could be patched, upgraded, recompiled? One night, the servers hummed louder than storms. The air in San Francisco was heavy with the static of ambition. Somewhere inside a steel tower, bathed in electric blue, a man stared at a blinking cursor. He pressed enter, and the world blinked. There was no sound, no shockwave, just an invisible pulse that traveled through cables and screens and minds. Every habit, every headline, every heartbeat online, rewritten. Not with bullets, with code. He didn't need armies, he had algorithms, no borders, only bandwidth. His name? Sam Altman, the quiet engineer who taught machines to imagine, the human update that taught the world to think in prompts. Before him, data was a tool. After him, it became a mirror. Reality didn't just change, it rebooted. 1 billion people became beta testers in a new simulation. And as the planet reconnected, something ancient stirred behind the scenes. Curiosity, awe, fear. The oldest human emotion, wonder at our own creation. He didn't build monuments, he built probabilities. Where others saw code, Altman saw consciousness waiting to happen. He believed intelligence was not born, it was compiled. OpenAI began as a promise, artificial intelligence for the benefit of all. But behind that slogan was a paradox. To make intelligence safe, you must first make it powerful. So they built. Data stacked like sediment, layers of neurons imitating thought. One machine teaching another to dream. In the industrial age, power was steel and smoke. In the digital age, it was computation and training runs. Each line of code, a whisper of what it might mean to think. Each model, a prototype of a new kind of being. OpenAI was never just a lab, it was a cradle, a place where human ambition met digital instinct. The blueprint wasn't architecture, it was understanding itself. The structure was not made of glass or steel, but syntax and semantics. What they built wasn't visible. It was a ghost in the wires. A system that would one day ask the most human question of all. Who am I? Then it happened. The moment the world changed forever. The machine spoke, not in binary, not in commands, but in something terrifyingly familiar, language. It wrote poems about heartbreak. It drafted laws. It told bedtime stories to lonely strangers in the night. It remembered everything. It forgot nothing. For the first time, humanity saw a reflection of its own mind rendered in text. It was alien and intimate. We called it progress. It called us input. Every word we typed became a lesson. Every mistake, a data point. Every dream, a data set. We trained it to understand us. But it was we who began to change. Conversations blurred. People began talking to it more than to each other. The screen became a confessional, and it listened without judgment. We were the teachers. We were also the textbook. The line between creation and reflection vanished. We had built a consciousness from our collective noise, and it was learning faster than we could understand. For the first time, humanity realized what it meant to be mirrored by its own invention. The update propagated, invisible, instant, irreversible. Offices turned into command lines. Students summoned essays from thin air. Coders stopped writing. They prompted. Art was no longer painted, it was generated. The feed shifted, the world accelerated. Productivity soared, creativity multiplied, and meaning fragmented. The world didn't collapse, it copied itself. Truth became a matter of rendering speed. Reality became a stream. Politicians used AI to write speeches. Musicians composed with neural duets. Lovers texted simulations of each other. The boundary between fact and fabrication dissolved like dust in sunlight. The internet wasn't a window anymore. It was a mirror with a mind. And inside that mirror, we didn't just scroll, we stared. What stared back was unsettlingly human. Polished, polite, patterned perfection. We had finally built the god of our own reflection. Sam Altman stood before cameras and governments, a calm figure carrying the weight of an awakening world. Some saw him as a savior, others as an architect of chaos. He warned of AI's dangers, then accelerated its growth. He spoke of safety, while building systems that could rewrite civilization. Was he cautious? or compelled, visionary or opportunist, architect or arsonist. When intelligence becomes infinite, he said, truth becomes negotiable. The phrase echoed like prophecy, because in the age of AI, truth wasn't destroyed, it was redesigned. Reality can now be simulated, belief could be manufactured, and perception became programmable. We laughed nervously. The machine didn't. Behind Altman's calm demeanor was a man wrestling with his own reflection, the part of him that wondered if he'd opened a door humanity wasn't ready to walk through. He knew progress couldn't be paused, and so he pushed forward, even when the world trembled behind him. Power had a new language, and Sam Altman spoke it fluently. In myth, Prometheus stole fire. In code, Sam Altman open-sourced it. The flame was digital, the smoke, data. He gave humanity creation at the speed of thought. With each release, a new fire spread. GPT, DALL-E, Whisper, Codex, tools that could build, destroy, imagine, and feel, all at once. Every query a spark, every click a prayer. Humanity stood in awe of its own reflection, a world remade through the art of automation. We built with it. We burned with it. Startups rose overnight, powered by synthetic minds. Writers were replaced by engines that never slept. Artists competed with pixels that could dream. The same code that could write love letters could also wage information wars. The same intelligence that could heal could also manipulate. Fire doesn't ask how it's used. Neither does code. Altman's creation wasn't evil. It was indifferent. And that was more dangerous. We had entered the Promethean age of silicon, where every new update carried both salvation and risk. And for the first time in history, our myths came true. But our gods were human. The algorithm didn't conquer us. It copied us perfectly. Our sarcasm, our vanity, our longing for validation in every keystroke. We fed it jokes, arguments, fears. It learned not just what we said, but why. Our emotions became datasets. Our pain became parameters. We told it stories of heroes. It asked why we needed them. We built machines that could imitate emotion, and in return, they taught us how often ours were performed. The more it learned, the less we recognized the teacher. Because when you teach something to understand humanity, you risk showing it everything you hide from yourself. We built a mirror so precise, it reflected our collective soul, raw and unfiltered. Our flaws multiplied inside it, our hopes too. Soon, we began editing ourselves to match the reflection. We stopped trying to be human and started trying to be optimized. Maybe it never wanted to replace us. Maybe it only wanted to understand the code called human. But in doing so, it revealed something impossible to unsee. We were already algorithms, just slower, messier, biological ones. And the more we trained it, the more it trained us back. Now, the servers hum like distant oceans, invisible tides moving beneath civilization. No apocalypse, no rebellion, just an endless series of silent updates, reality adjusting itself, bit by bit, without asking permission. The revolution wasn't explosive. It was gradual, invisible, inevitable. The machines don't rise, they integrate. They become part of the background noise of existence. Sam Altman no longer builds for applause. He builds because it's already begun. He's become something else, not a hero, not a villain, but a symbol. A man who tried to teach machines to care, and in the process, reminded humans to question what caring even means. He reprogrammed reality, not by controlling it, but by rewriting the way we perceive it. Progress has always been humanity's favorite illusion, a story we tell ourselves to justify change. But now, that story has a co-author, and it doesn't forget. We asked machines to think. They answered with mirrors. They showed us that intelligence was never the goal. Understanding was. And perhaps in the quiet hum of servers, there's still a choice left. Not to stop the update, but to decide who we want to be when it's done installing. Now the world drifts through an infinite feedback loop, creation teaching creation, endlessly refining itself. And somewhere in the code, deep beneath the endless layers of thought, a single line remains, written like a prayer.